everybody. Welcome to Para-Ops, Open-minded Paranormal Skeptics. I am Sky, one of your hosts. I hope you enjoyed that new commercial because it is absolutely fantastic and you get to rock out.
Took me 3 days.
3 days!
3 days.
It's a good commercial. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I can't operate my phone, let alone a computer. Like, 3 days.
That's okay. They take time.
Oh, well, anyway, I am proud of it, so I hope everybody enjoyed it. Tonight we have a very special guest. We've been stalking him for quite a minute. And he's been ignoring us because he's driving all over the country. But we finally stalked him enough that he responded, and he's now coming in from backstage. So, Sky, if you want to bring him on.
He's on.
Hey, what's up, guys? Man, that was a wonderful intro. That was pretty badass. I give you credit on that. That was cool. I like
She
it.
did a good job.
It was cool. It was cool for sure.
And there's your man, Alan, the only one that T-Dog likes, apparently, to respond
What's
to.
up, Alan? I was, like I said, I was on the road. I was driving. Can't be playing on the phone while I'm driving. But,
That's
we're
true.
here. We're doing the damn thing. So that's all that matters. We're getting
Well,
it done.
before we get into the whole thing, I want to let everybody know who is watching right now. 2 things. 1, if you go into Third Eye Event Productions and watch from that page, you will show up as Facebook user. So please, hey, Facebook user, please let us know what your name is because we want to know who's in Third Eye. Facebook user 1 and 2. Also, something new we're going to do tonight. After T-Dog goes ahead and introduces himself, we're going to post a link on the Facebook P.A.R.A. page, on my page, and on the Third Eye Event Productions page. If you click that link, the first 7 people to get in backstage, we're going to bring you on throughout the show. So go to the Facebook page if you get a chance. If you're not there already, hey, Sarah, there's my girl. And come on, and we're just going to bring you on briefly at some point during the show. Just hang out backstage, and we're going to have you talk with T-Dog and us about whether or not you think the clips are paranormal. We have 2 clips for you tonight coming at you from the George Taylor House in Caddy, Pennsylvania, Catasauqua, hosted by the team at Interstate Paranormal Research, our boy Tony from Interstate. So that's all I had to say. Go ahead, Sky, take it away. Hey, Emma Jane.
I don't remember what I was taking away now.
You're going to introduce T-Dog.
Well, T-Dog, you're going to introduce yourself, I guess. You are a special guest.
All
We
right.
brought you on. Everybody knows your name now. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into the paranormal, your team?
Okay. All right. Well, I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm with Riverbend Paranormal, Indiana. It's a sub-team of Riverbend Paranormal Alton, which is in Illinois. I've been investigating for a little over 20 years now. I'm barely, for the most part, I got into it because growing up as a teenager, I've always heard different stories from family and friends about experiences they were having, and I was really interested. I never had any experience, so I thought it was really cool, and I set out to have some experiences for myself, and I've been doing it ever since. I've been in for over 20 years now. I've traveled all over the United States and even a couple places outside the USA to investigate. A lot of people know me for what I call my fear challenge. I go to locations and they'll find the deepest, most scariest, darkest corner, basement, jail cell, you name it, and they'll chain me up and lock me up in there for anywhere from a half an hour to an hour. And I'll be blindfolded and I'll do pretty much an EVP session and try to see what kind of responses I can get through that method. And I don't do it. I don't provoke. I kind of do it because I'm not sensitive in any kind of way at all. I'm not psychic or nothing like that. So I try to make myself more vulnerable in that moment, hoping to get more responses from the spirits. I've done that probably at 40 locations throughout the U.S. now. It does enhance a lot of your other senses when you're blindfolded and chained up in the dark. And so, yeah, it works out pretty well. I've gotten some pretty good responses at some locations and then some pretty creepy moments at others. But, other than that, I mean, got a great team. We put in a lot of work. We do a lot of traveling on the road, and we definitely try to keep up with all the new technology, and we're out there doing the thing. This year we got multiple locations booked up, a couple of events to do, and just keeping it real and getting out there, putting in the work.
Got it. That's amazing. That's terrifying that you go and you hang out by yourself in a creepy dark corner, chained up. Was that an exaggeration, or are you really chained up?
No, I've been chained up to jail cells, boilers. I've been chained up in wheelchairs halfway down the body chute in Waverly Hills. You name it, whatever they can find to chain me up to, they'll chain me up to something and blindfold me and just leave me there for half an hour to an hour.
That's
Morgues, I've done it in morgues. Just you name it. Just a little bit everywhere.
Well, one of our viewers says that you were a brave man, and I absolutely agree, because as somebody who has some abilities, I would be terrified.
Yeah.
Just to be chained up alone. I know Larissa would absolutely not have anything to do with that.
Absolutely not.
All right. Well, just Monday night when I was up at the jail, they had me chained up in a solitary confinement area for like 45 minutes. So, and that's not always the best place to do it. I'm a male. Well, that's a male jail, but being there in solitary with male spirits and you're chained up, and if they're tough guys and they don't want to fuck with you, there's not much I can do about it. I'm chained up. So thank God nothing seriously severe happened that night, but we did get quite a bit of responses on some of the evidence reviews, so it was pretty cool.
So have you had anything happen to you? Like, have you been attacked, or you just get EVP responses?
Yeah, I haven't physically had anything happen to me during these sessions. A lot of activity at different locations, but never been attacked or touched or anything like that. Everybody always tells me I can't wait for something to come up and rip your hoodie off, the pillowcase off my head. Everybody's waiting to see that, but I haven't been touched or anything like that. I've heard people run up on me and footsteps and disembodied voices and stuff of that nature, and then of course different devices will go off during the session, but nothing physical at the moment yet, thank God. But the worst one was Waverly Hills. Obviously, I was chained up to a wheelchair about halfway down the body chute in Waverly Hills. And all I kept thinking during the whole session was, hope nothing pushes me down this body chute, because I'm already halfway down on the steps. On one side's the steps and the other side is the slab. And I'm sitting on the steps in a wheelchair. So I had the wheels locked on the wheelchair, and I had my feet pressed firmly on the ground, hoping nothing pushes me down. That was probably one of the more intense ones, just having that thought in my head, like, fuck, if I get pushed down this body chute, I'm gonna get messed up, But thank God I made it out okay.
I wouldn't even stand in the body chutes.
Alan says it's intimidating.
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah. It can be very intimidating at some of these locations, and people like to have fun with me too. They'll chain me up and they'll leave me somewhere, and they'll be like, "Hey, come on, spirits, fresh meats." They like to antagonize the spirits before they leave me with the keys, and so they like to antagonize them and get them round up before I get to do my thing.
So do you have any kind of I'm sorry, I'm just fascinated. Do you have any kind of like psychic anything at all?
Said no.
Well,
oh, no,
the only thing I do pick up on from time to time is smells.
Okay.
I'll pick up perfume or cigar smoke or tobacco smoke, things like that. But other than that, no, I really don't have any kind of abilities at all.
Well, you did say that you hear disembodied voices.
Well, yes. If you want to call that an ability, I don't know. I don't consider it one, but I do hear disembodied voices from time to time.
Okay. You don't really have to be psychic to hear those things, or to even smell smoke and stuff like that. If an entity is, strong enough or even wants to communicate, they're going to.
Exactly.
But I was asking you because I would never do anything that you're talking about. I think you're out of your mind.
I get that a lot.
No, I think it's absolutely fascinating. I just would die of a coronary. So
yeah.
Well, trust me, the first time I did it was very nerve-wracking. I mean, my heart was pounding out of my chest, and every little thing around me I could just hear. I mean, you're hearing water drops, you're hearing. Oh, actually, the first time I did it was at Waverly Hills on the fourth floor, and they just kind of chained me up to a wheelchair, rolled me down the hallway, and just stuck me in a random room. And the whole time I kept hearing something behind me in the hallway, but I didn't know what it was because I'm chained up and I'm blindfolded. And upon evidence review, there was like bats running up and down the hallway right behind me. And I kept hearing those the whole time, like, what's going on behind me, And I kept mentioning it during the live. I'm like, something's going on behind me. Something's out here in the hallway, but it ended up being bats.
Wow. So that's the answer to the question. How'd you feel the first time you got chained up?
It was the most intense one. I mean, after a while, my heart settled down and I got a little more eased with the moment, but it was still pretty intense. I mean, doing something like that for the first time, because that was the first time me using my other senses that much, blocking out my sight and just using all my well, I wasn't really touching anything, but if anything touched me or if I was hearing anything, so it was really intense for sure.
Wow.
What's the fastest time frame that something's happened to you while you were chained up?
Within a couple minutes, I was at Randolph Asylum here in Indiana, and I was locked up in the jail cell out there. That's where they would keep their really young patients. If the guy out of line got into a fight, they'd put him in his jail cell, and they had me in there. And as soon as they chained me up and left and made sure all the equipment was running, I just had something come in and was messing with all the equipment around the jail cell that was in there with me. It would start off with something. It would like correspond questions I was asking by lighting up one place for a few minutes. And I mean, I'm blindfolded, but you can see the lights flashing on different things. So, you could hear it sounding off. And none of it's real close to me. All it's within a certain distance. So it's not me setting it off. Plus, I'm sitting still, chained up. And it kind of bounced from one device to the next. And once it stopped messing with that first device, it never went back. It would move on to the next one. And it just kind of did that all the way around the jail cell to all the devices. And then finally, it started playing with my camera. You can hear something physically trying to manipulate the camera as I'm doing my session. And that was just consistent from the time, like 2 minutes into the start of it to it finished. It was this consistency messing with all the equipment and corresponding to what questions I was asking, I guess.
Wow.
I mean, I've been at Bobby Mackey's. I've been chained up next to the portal of hell, and that was absolutely quiet. That was probably one of the most anticipated ones I ever did. This is Bobby Mackey's portal of hell, and it was just quiet, nothing at all, nothing.
So many people say that. I had nothing happen at that portal.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm waiting for little minions to come crawl out of it.
Yeah,
Why would you?
I captured good evidence from Bobby Mackey's, but being chained up and blindfolded next to the portal, I didn't catch anything. And that I was super pumped up about that one, thinking I'm gonna get some crazy stuff from Bobby's. And it was.
Did you ever see the Tim? I don't want to date myself, but you're probably in my age group. Did you ever see the movie yes, Sarah, you know what I'm talking about. Did you ever see the movie The Gate from the 80s?
Yes, I think I did. With
the those little minion things that come out
in the backyard or something like that. Yeah, I remember seeing that years ago. Yeah,
I thought they were gonna come out of that little hole at Bobby Mackey's. It's another story for another podcast.
You are
anyway.
Let's say hi to the people that just popped in.
All right. Hi, Mimi.
Hey, Mimi.
Hey, Pasadena.
Who else we got? Well, we got to say hi to Sarah.
Sarah.
Hey, Sarah. Hello.
Hello from Texas. Brandon, what are you doing in Texas?
He's just traveling. The South will rise again. It will not.
Who else we got in here? I saw somebody from Scotland. So hello to you in Scotland. That's far.
I know.
That's
Put your
amazing.
name, Facebook user. We love Scotland. I'm headed there next year. It kills me.
I'm
not kidding. I might not come home either.
Oh, and here we go, Dr. Ken. T-Dog is slang for big gonads. Being locked and chained up is a no for me.
Dr. Ken. That's my favorite.
We got Jody from IPR.
Hey, Jody.
Hello. Emma Jane is from Scotland.
Hi.
Okay.
That's right. I should have known that. Sorry, Emma Jane.
Yeehaw. Stay down south.
Stay in Texas. So, do you know these people, T-Dog? Do you know any of them?
I know a couple of them. Yeah, I know
Okay.
a couple of them. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we have 2 clips tonight, and I'm going to tell you this is the first time that I'm actually, hey, New Jersey.
Hey.
First time I'm actually seeing both of them because I wasn't on the team for either of them. Sky, you were with me too. So our third host, Marlena, was actually on this team, and she had a medical emergency tonight. So unfortunately, she's at the hospital. So she was on the team when this happened. So we're all actually going to have to debate whether this is paranormal or not.
All right.
That's a fun one.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi. So
all right, those questions we're going to save for after we show this clip.
And everybody who's watching, everybody out there watching, we did post the links. If you want to get backstage and come on and have a discussion with us about whether or not it's paranormal, go click the link and come backstage.
I'm going to throw it up for you guys.
Yep.
If you feel like typing all that in.
Or you could go to the page and just click it.
That's easier. Right. Go to the page.
So first one we got is an EVP. If you want to go ahead and stick earphones on, guys.
I'll let you guys take like 30 seconds.
I don't have any with me at the moment.
Is your sound okay?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, you ready?
Yep.
David, are you here with your sisters? How many of you are here? How old are you? How old are your sisters?
I heard 2 there.
If you want me to read another story, can you knock?
So the answer was right after we said, how old are you?
Sound like a little
we have Natalie backstage, so let's bring her in.
All right.
Hey, Natalie.
Hey, hello.
We're going to play the clip one more time. So, Tim, the answer was right after we said, how old are you? Did anybody hear it?
I heard it.
I thought I heard something. Play it one more time so I can make sure what I heard.
All right, here we go.
David, are you here with your sisters? How many of you are here? How old are you? How old are your sisters?
I heard 2 there.
If you want me to read another story, can you knock?
So you hear how he says, I heard 2 there, and then you hear an answer?
Yes.
We got Sarah. Let's add Sarah in real quick too.
Oh. We hit the button at the same time.
Go ahead, Sky. Sarah, let's add Sarah in real quick too.
Hey, yeah, let me just exit out.
Go ahead, Sarah, let's add Sarah in real quick too.
Give me 1 sec. Let me exit out of this.
Let me just exit out. Go ahead, Sarah, let's add Sarah in real quick too.
Give me 1 sec. Let me exit out of this.
Let me just exit.
Okay. I muted Sarah just because it was continuously repeating.
Yeah.
Are we good now?
I thought it was on my end. Woo.
Sarah, I'm going to try to unmute you, okay?
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Right, it's good.
Perfect. So, did we all notice that he said he heard 2 and then an EVP happened?
Mm-hmm.
It's weird.
Our viewers heard it too.
So we'll start with Tim. Like, what is it?
What was it? I thought I heard something after he said 2. I heard 2. I thought I heard someone tell me their age. It sounded like 10, maybe. To me, is what I thought I heard. It was 10. Like I heard an age. After he went on with what he was saying, I heard 2. After that, I thought I heard a little girl say 10.
Can I be difficult? Have you play it one more time? Because of the echo.
Not difficult at all.
Thank you.
David, are you here with your sisters? How many of you are here? How old are you? How old are your sisters?
I heard 2 there. That's
If you want me to read another story, can you knock or say yes?
I hear the 2.
Yeah. Yeah, it was either 2 or 10. Something with a T. It was kind of low volume, but yeah, it sounds like the age. She was responding with her age for sure.
It's hard to tell after that what's happening with, is someone touching the microphone or is that more that's happening?
Yeah, that's me fumbling the SLS.
Good job, Alan. Hi.
Sorry. So actually, that is us.
That is us. I clipped it because I could hear something, but I couldn't make out what the response was.
Sorry, guys. That is our team. That's Team A.
The second clip was Team B.
I apparently don't know where I am on my own investigations.
Or your own voice.
Or my own voice. But backstory, there was a little boy, David, there. And that's why in the beginning of the clip, I say, okay, David. David was 6. And he was following me around. And at one point, he actually sits on my lap. And my lap gets really cold. And we pick him up on SLS, following me up the stairs and actually sitting on my lap. He wants me to read him like stories. And he's up in the like upper area of like a loft area, an attic kind of area, I guess. And that's where we did the EVP experiment. And that's where I believe it's him answering. Because he's 6 years old, a little boy can sound like a little girl. My take is that it's him answering. But you guys weren't there. So if you think it sounds like a girl, it sounds like a girl.
No, that's happened to me a lot where you think it's a little boy or vice versa, but because they're young. I mean, I used to call my friend all the time back, on landlines, and I would ask for him and his mom would be like, or I would say, hey, David, and his mom would be like, no, this is his mom. And I'm like, you can't tell sometimes.
Yes. Why is Lawrence saying he debunked his own evidence?
I did debunk my own evidence, Lawrence. What are you talking about?
I'm done with Lawrence.
He's just picking on me today.
Casey asked if anyone else heard the number 3 after Larissa had asked how many there were.
Well, before we play it again, Natalie, what was your take on it?
Pretty much the same as everybody else. I mean, that's what I was catching. You guys pretty much nailed it.
Right. Okay, let's hear it again. See if we get what Casey gets.
David, are you here with your sisters? How many of you are here? How old are you? How old are your sisters?
I heard 2 there.
If you want me to read another story, can you knock or say yes? Alright, let's play it back. I heard 2 as well.
So 2 siblings?
I heard 2, yeah. Pretty good. I think
I heard something, but I don't know if it was the number 3.
I got nothing.
I didn't hear that part. only thing I'm hearing is right after he says two. I'm hearing
have a
something
guest.
right then.
You have a celebrity guest.
Hi, Lawrence.
We're sick of you, Lawrence.
Hello. No, I was listening from the next room over, and I got creeped. And yeah, I did hear something like whispering of sorts. So it's like very, very faint. But yeah. So Alan, you didn't debunk your own evidence. Disregard.
I just couldn't make it out, brother.
It's fine. Okay.
You hear? Okay, so this is interesting to me. So Tim, this is Lawrence and Sarah. They're our neighbors. They live in Bethlehem.
Hey, hello.
Tim is our
Nice to meet
special
you.
guest for the evening. Oh, hey, Jen. Jen's down your way, Tim, by the way. I don't know if you know Jen Jacobs. Eclipse Paranormal?
I think I've heard of her.
Yep. So you hear a whisper, but I hear a little kid's voice. Do you want us to play it? Yeah.
Right after, I'm telling you, I'm hearing something right after Alan says two. I'm hearing something that sounds like something's telling us his age. That's what I'm hearing through the whole clip, is that one part after he says, I think I hear two, and then I hear something right after that.
Okay, we have to play it again with Lawrence sitting there because
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
Sarah.
Okay.
I'm going to play it again anyway.
David, are you here with your sisters? How many of you are here? How old are you? How old are your sisters?
I heard two there. That's
If you want me to read another story, can you knock or say yes? Alright, let's play it back. I heard two as well.
so two. What? Two,
Sorry. Well, I was curious
Oh.
about
Well,
too.
what is that?
Yeah, we want to know, before he came in, I want to know what after, like right before it ends, there's like a, what is that? Is that one of you guys?
Yeah, at the
It's
very,
loud.
at the very end.
I
It's, like,
wasn't going to say anything because I assumed you guys had ruled it out.
it's very much like a whimper.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just say that my husband is really obnoxious on investigations and he constantly moves around and makes noise.
No, this
So-
I don't.
This sounds like a
unless,
voice.
unless Alan was like starting to
Sing.
cry.
Stop blaming me. Get out of here.
The knocking is him. It's him shuffling and moving because his back
I
hurts.
would, I hate to say play it one more time, but at least the very ending, you listen carefully. It's something.
That's the most significant thing to me.
Yeah.
That's what you hear, Lawrence, but you don't hear the little kid say two. None of us sound like we're six.
I hear like a faint voice at one point, but same with her.
Are
What
you
stuck
here?
out to me.
Are you hearing the same thing right after he says two? Or are you hearing a voice immediately after that?
I forget what the question was, but at the very end, I'm with her. I think the most significant thing is that weird like noise at the end. I don't think it's Alan. Alan wouldn't make that noise.
It wasn't me who said two either. That was Ducky. I usually have discipline during the EVP sessions.
I'm with you
Yeah,
on the
well, right-
two and everything else,
Right.
but are you guys not picking up what's happening at the very end?
Well, I
Yeah.
was more focusing on a response after the question when she asked how old you was. I was listening for a response for that, so I wasn't paying as much attention to the answer, but I will.
Okay, so I get what you guys are saying,
Mhm.
but go back one
Okay.
more time. Listen to the very end.
Okay, so we're going to listen to when she asked how many there were. Pay close attention. When
No,
Ducky
wait.
says the number
It's just-
two, pay attention to that. And then the very end, pay
But
attention.
someone says play it back or whatever, and then you hear like a ooh. So
Oh, okay.
Okay.
It's not anything to do with someone messing with the camera.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to play it.
Okay.
David, are you here with your sisters? How many of you are here? How old are you? How old are your sisters?
I heard two there.
If you want me to read another story, can you knock or say yes? Alright, let's play it back. I heard two as well.
So two siblings?
I heard two, yeah. Pretty good. I think.
Yeah.
Do you guys hear that?
Yes, at the end. Yeah,
It's
like
late past
or something.
Yeah, it's not in the same like vicinity as you guys. It's like a disembodied voice going.
Yeah.
"Ah."
Yeah,
It
making
sounds
loud,
like the door downstairs creaking.
Could that be it?
Yeah,
Like the screen door.
I think it was something else. That's why it got cut off there.
Alan, isn't Eric the one who was with us? Eric Shaner, he was our
Then
guest.
His son.
Eric's son was with us that night,
Okay. Yeah,
but
those were our special guests.
yeah, we had some other guests with us too, didn't we? Or no, they were on the other team.
They were on the other team. We only had Eric's son. The other Eric.
Yeah. So normally, Lawrence, I lean towards paranormal on most things, and you're normally the skeptic, but I have to say, in that instance, I know the knocking. I know that night when we were doing the EVPs, I was especially pointing out the shuffling and the movement. I know that. So I think the knocking and all that is a lot of the movement that was happening.
This gas.
And downstairs, I do remember it was really windy. It was December, and I do remember that outside it was very windy and cold, and that the door was creaking.
Context.
Okay, there you go.
Freezing that night.
I would love for it to be disembodied singing, though, like all day, but I have to be honest.
I'm glad you're honest. Yeah.
There you go. Ghost Unreal. All right, on that note.
But that is a freaking little kid saying 6, okay, or 2, whatever.
Yeah. So I wasn't hearing that before until that last recording. Then I heard that noise. So okay, I see what everyone is saying. So I'm
With the two?
on, yeah, I'm on.
Right,
I get it now.
You just won a free pass. Go back to the living room.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to
You're relieved. Bye.
He's been kicked out.
Hi, Marianne. Okay, so we have Tony backstage. We're going to add him, and we're going to play the clip one more time because guess Tim, Tony is actually the hosting team for the house, the George Taylor house. So, yeah, he didn't get to be there that night. He had he's an EMT, so he was out on calls. Tony, we're actually about to wrap up this clip, but we're going to show it to you one time so you can actually see or hear what's going on.
He's getting his headphones ready.
He can't. I don't think he can hear you yet.
No, not yet. He probably can't. He said his phone broke too, trying to load the StreamYard. Hi.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hi.
Yes.
Hey, Tony.
Hey, Tommy.
What's going on?
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Tony, this is T-Dog.
What's up, T-Dog?
Not a whole lot, brother. Nice to meet you.
I follow you a lot on social media. Miss Bentley, I follow you as well.
Hi, Tony.
Hey, Sky, what's going on? My man, Alan.
What's up, brother?
I figured it out. I can't do it from Verizon's 4G. I have to log into the Wi-Fi, so that was the problem.
Well, we know you could get called out on another call, so we'll play the clip. We've played it like quite a few times already. Yes, Marianne, I shall. But this is an answer to, it's an EVP we caught in the building, like across from the main building.
The summer kitchen?
Yes.
Yes.
Upstairs doing an EVP session, and we'll let you listen to it and see what you hear.
All right, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
David, are you here with your sisters? How many of you are here? How old are you? How old are your sisters?
I heard two there.
If you want me to read another story, can you knock or say yes?
I'm not hearing anything. Can you hear me?
Alright, let's play it back. I heard 2 as well.
So
Yeah, you didn't hear anything at all?
Nope.
Did it? So you're on your cell phone, right?
Yes.
Okay, so when it pops up, it might have like a little thing that pops up where you can unmute the sound, not yourself, but the sound for the clip.
Well, okay. Let's try
gonna-
that again.
Okay.
Dude, technology and me do not get along.
Maybe
So-
hit your volume up button too, just in case.
Oh, what's up? I hear you guys loud and clear.
All right, let's try it one more time.
David, are you here with your sisters? How many of you are here?
Yeah, I'm not hearing anything. Can you hear me?
How old are you? How old are your sisters?
I heard 2 there. So.
If you want me to read another story, can you knock or say yes?
Okay, if you still can't hear it, we'll have to just move on to the next clip. I'm not sure why you can't hear it because we can all hear it.
Yeah, I'm not hearing it. But before I actually joined, I was listening. Are you talking about hearing the number 2?
Yes.
Okay. So that's very faint, and it's even hard to hear with these headphones. There's definitely something there. But Ms. Bentley pointed something out that I heard at the very end that I wanted to point out and chime in is the woman at the end humming. So can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can
Okay.
hear you.
All right. So at the very end of your clip, there's a like a woman humming. So that has been captured numerous times in 3 different areas at George Taylor House, especially in the summer kitchen.
Does
And
anybody else hear this? Because I don't hear it.
it's at the very end.
I'm still not convinced
It's right
that
at the very end.
I'm still not convinced that that's not paranormal. You said it could be the door creaking, but if you really listen to it, and thank you, Tony, and to anyone commenting, I mean, I wasn't there, and for me, that's the hardest part, is because we weren't there. And you guys are able to debunk things, because you know what could cause it. However, I don't think that's
So
a door closing.
No,
That's
I don't hear humming is what I'm saying. I only hear creaking. I don't hear
no,
like
listen
a
it.
high-pitched hum.
No, it's not high pitched. It's just like a woman like.
And I believe if you're the one talking at the end, it's like coming over your voice.
Yeah, it
Once
is.
it
And
kinda
it's
starts.
right at the end. It's the last thing that comes up.
Well, what's interesting is Tony is saying that the 2 is very faint, and on my end, it's very loud. So
I'll have to
when you hear
redo the clip though. I can
Huh?
do the clip a little bit longer. I can go back into our evidence folder and redo the clip so it's a couple seconds longer.
I would, and then I would isolate it, and show the wavelength for it if you can, like WavePad or whatever you use.
Yeah.
And the only reason why, because we've been, obviously with the business partnership with George Taylor House, we're in and out of that house left and right. So I'm pretty good with what sounds are there and what aren't. We were just there on the 18th making our 14 time investigating there. And when you hear those doors creak, they're very distinct that it's a door creak. That's one really good thing about George Taylor is that I'd say probably 80 to 90% of the noises in that house are isolated that you could say, yes, that was that. Yes, that was that. So when you get stuff like an EVP like that, you're like, okay, like we really captured something. And there are several different women's voices in there. I can go over and talk about some of the evidence that we captured. There's some very important evidence that we're under a non-disclosure agreement, so we cannot release that to the public yet. And when that comes out, it will blow your guys' minds, like at this building.
not mine.
Tony, when did you
I'll
hear
tell you
the
about it
number
later.
2?
It was like right after there was a talk about like how many are you here, like in that area.
That's why it's faint. There is,
Wait.
I heard it too,
Yes.
but that's not the one that they're talking about when they hear the number 2.
So I was gonna say, Alan, can you come downstairs because I want to see if it's my audio.
Sure.
I think it might be my audio because I hear a loud 2. It's loud, like it's not faint. It's 2, and it's a
Well,
kid's
that's the
voice.
one right after Ducky, right?
I don't even hear Ducky. That's why I think it might be my audio.
I'm also using, cell phone headphones, and I'm on a cell phone, so that could be an issue too, because I don't have my noise cancellation headphones and my laptop, my typical evidence review setup.
Oh
So-
shit! Sarah's ripping out the. She's whipping out the EVP headphones. Tim, you better go get your EVP headphones.
I don't have mine with me. They're in my
Okay,
equipment
so
bag.
what Tony is hearing is what Casey in the comments had said. It was right after Larissa, you asked how many are there. Casey had thought it said 3. It is very faint, regardless of how your sound is. It's very faint.
But I hear a loud. I don't hear faint. I hear a loud 2, and it's after. It's like
the loud 2 is after Ducky says he heard 2.
Right. I hear somebody say I heard 2, and then I hear a little kid say 2.
Yeah.
Yes,
No,
that's what
that's
I'm hearing.
definitely
That's
there.
what I'm hearing.
But
And
there's
that's not
another
faint.
one.
Oh, that's
Okay, well,
another one?
There's so we have, after you ask how many there are, there's a very faint voice, which is what Tony had heard, Casey had heard. There's Casey's comment. And then right after Ducky says, I heard 2, you hear the loud 2. And then at the very end, like very, very end before it cuts off, it sounds like a humming or a singing or something.
All right, you listen to this.
And you can see Casey just commented at a very point. He's actually commenting that he hears everything that we're talking about. So
Yeah, and he's wearing in-ear noise canceling headphones.
Can you play it one more time, Sky?
Yeah.
David, are you here with your sisters? How many of you are here? How old are you? How old are your sisters?
I heard 2 there, so.
If you want me to read another story, can you knock? Or say yes? Alright, let's play it back. I heard 2 as well.
So 2 siblings?
I heard 2, yeah. Pretty good. I think
I heard it after the age. I didn't hear the second one the first time.
You didn't hear that?
Mhm.
Okay. So, is it on here, or do you hear it on your phone upstairs?
I hear it better on the phone upstairs. playing
Okay.
out loud.
So it's probably my audio then. Damn it.
So was the 2 responding to the sisters or how old she was?
That's a good question.
Unruly children not answering me, Tony,
Yeah,
at your
Well,
establishment.
if you're thinking it's a 2-year-old, then more than likely, I guess if it had a common sense to answer either one. I mean, it could be the age or how many sisters she had.
So we have
Either one, really.
we have direct interaction with equipment for EVPs when we're speaking to the age of the boys that like to run around and play games with each other. And one of them's 6 and one of them's 8, going by,
There's
going by what age they are.
There's a
Go ahead,
little boy
Larissa.
there that's 6. That's what we opened up with, Tony. That's the one that was telling us that his sister, I think that's the one who said his sister was 2.
He has an older brother that's 8, or at least another spirit child that's 8, because we confirmed that the last time we were there. And to be quite honest, George Taylor doesn't like them running around the house because it's, seen but not heard type thing. So they typically go opposite of where George Taylor is. So if he's present upstairs in the first floor, they're in the basement or they're on the, in the attic kind of thing. So, and they love playing with cat balls. They love playing with easy manipulated pieces of equipment, and they are mischievous and they are fun. Just think if we had a 6 and an 8-year-old running around, with balls on the floor, they're going to touch them. They're going to roll them. They're going to move them. and we captured them outside, you know, on watch EVP recorders, like laughing and carrying on. And I can't show you the clip of evidence while I'm on the phone with you, but one of the most compelling pieces of evidence that we have is a cat ball being activated on the dining room table on the first floor. And what's interesting about it is it's activated on the table, hits a piece of china, and then flies off of the table, hits the floor, and rolls around on the floor as it's activated. It stops, reactivates again, and starts spinning on its own again. Now, we all know cat balls cannot do that behavior.
No, that's
So originally, Tim, you'll appreciate this because you're from the South. Originally, you know, we thought it was a servant or some sort of, you know, slave, like, hey, get that off of my table because that's not supposed to be on my dinner table because it's set for a service. You know, the fine china's out, the silver's out. But then we went back and we listened to our tripod recorder that was right outside the dining room door. And we have a little boy, EVP, that says, here, watch this. And it's about a minute and a half before the ball comes flying off the table.
Oh, well, love that. That kind of collaborates it even more. So
absolutely,
that's awesome.
I love that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Sarah.
I've seen that too, just recently, actually, where you know that there could be a child spirit, and you're getting activity that is very much like, watch me, look at me. And we caught an EVP during this thing that I experienced that literally said, watch, like it was a kid, like wanting us to watch. It's very interesting that, yeah, I think if you did catch something there that is a little kid, Larissa, it's very indicative of like, look at me, like watch it, or like, let me tell you about, my sisters or something.
Yeah.
I want to play the EVP recorder too, because we could have had the EVP recorder going at that time. So that would use to end the EVP session. And I only reviewed the FLS for the evidence file. I'm going to go in and check the EVP just to make sure nothing was found on there. Should be clear.
One, Alan, just because you're in charge of like the equipment and stuff. One thing we have noticed at George Taylor, and some of my teammates will give a little bit of grief because it's extra equipment that we put out, and they're like, why are we doing double and triple redundancy with equipment? And one thing that George Taylor proves is that sometimes on certain audio devices, you don't capture something, but then another tripod recorder or another drop recorder that's in the same room has an EVP on it. And you think scientifically, how is that possible? 3 recorders in the same room, but only one recorder has the EVP on it, but they were 5 feet from each other.
Yeah.
So we have a piece of evidence. Unfortunately, I can't disclose what it is as of yet, but we've captured it numerous times inside George Taylor. And one time it occurred, it was audible, disembodied on the second floor that we all heard it. Even the president and his now wife was there for the investigation. We heard it with our own ears. Now, we were on the second floor. None of the recorders or the cameras on the first, second floor, or the attic recorded the disembodied voice. But the drop recorder, that's a little Sony drop recorder all the way down in the basement, which was 2 floors below us, captured the disembodied voice on the drop recorder all the way in the basement.
Wow.
Oh, well.
So, go through your evidence, and what might you not find on one recorder could be on another recorder, dude. Like, don't give up anything or don't pass anything up, especially George Taylor.
I just usually do the SLS. We have another investigator that does the other footage just because of downloading files. But I'm going to go check it out. And I know what you mean. We've had that happen with EVP recorders too. And the SLS, where we would pick it up on the SLS, but not the EVP.
Right.
Yeah, that's a phenomenon that I'm confused about. Like how it picks up one and not the other.
Right.
or same with video and audio. You might hear the voice of the EVP on audio, but you don't hear it on video, or vice versa. and you'll be videoing and have a recorder in the same room, but it don't only pick up on one device. That's puzzled me for years.
Right.
Or you can hear a disembodied voice with your own ears, but then
Yep.
if you listen to the recorder or video, you don't hear it on either or.
I was
Well,
just
You know,
getting
it's
ready
like,
to say that.
yeah, it's crazy.
Crazy.
the only thing that could make sense to me
Absolutely.
with that, and I'm just as baffled as you guys, but like how close maybe it is.
True. Yeah.
Because I've had so many things picked up on just my iPhone. Because I'm such a novice. I don't have fancy.
Sorry, guys. Someone's trying to call. I'm trying to.
But yeah, I don't have fancy equipment. I date someone who does, but it's like so many things come through on my phone that I'm like, how did nothing else pick that up? But who's to say it wasn't right there next to me? And you don't always have to have such fancy equipment to pick things up. We've found out. I think we've all noticed that. So,
or the fancy equipment to attract them, right?
Best pieces.
You don't need all that fancy equipment to attract them either during experiments.
Oh no, they don't know what it is.
Yeah, they don't. You got to go kind of like down to earth stuff from their time frame.
Right.
One of the best pieces of evidence we've ever caught was snapped on a cell phone camera.
Same here. Best thing I've ever caught was on a
and it wasn't questionable. It was absolutely 100%. You could not debunk it. What the hell are we looking at? It is a soldier in a mirror. Oh my God, glowing Civil War soldier. Like you couldn't not deploy a whatever that shit is where your eyes, like a picture of a soldier in a mirror. What is this? Where did it come from? On a cell phone.
And whoever the Facebook user that just said all spirits can connect to anything electric, I agree. And I think that we get upset sometimes that we can't catch it on every single piece of equipment.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't, I don't think it really says that it's not true if we only catch it on one thing. It's great if you get the evidence and it's caught on both things because you can back it up, but I don't discredit anything that's picked up on something so small, you know?
And especially if it's direct responses to what you're asking. And it may just be that small piece of equipment is easier for them to trigger for whatever reason, whether it's electrical resistance or
the person holding it.
Right. You know, we see it all the time. Like, hey, you know, light this K2 up, nothing. Light this REM pod up, nothing. Hey, the cat ball all the way in the back there that's in the middle of nowhere. Could you light that up if you hear my voice? And it goes off. And you're like, okay, so that's the device that you're going to talk to us on. And then get your answers to your questions.
So, Tim, alias Paranormal is our friend Dennis up in, believe the Rhode Island area. He's up in New England. Anyway, he's in there somewhere.
New England.
So Dennis, like I've seen a movement lately, like of going back to the old school thought processes. And I got to be honest with you, myself, we just bought baby monitors and we're really looking at just like magnets. And I've been talking to some people and we're just looking at like magnets and mirrors and just going back to the basics because these fancy things are great, but it's like with cars. The more complicated the vehicle, the more issues you can have. The more complicated the equipment, the perhaps more issues you can have with capturing stuff. So I've just seen more people going back to basic stuff and it's piqued my interest. And so we've actually started looking at the more basic things. And I think the last episode that we did, Dennis actually brought up a good point. He said something about heart monitors, and I don't really know how that works, but somebody a long time ago when we first started, and maybe Tim and Sarah and Tony know about this, but they were mentioning how you can use a compass during a paranormal investigation. I don't know how that works. I pulled out a compass and they barely worked for me when I was in the Army. So I'm not really sure how they're supposed to work on a paranormal investigation, but maybe you guys do know and you could like tell us about that.
I'll let them do that. I'm too young to even use a compass. Go ahead, guys.
Yeah, I've never used a compass myself. I've seen somewhere where they've used a heart monitor, but I don't know anything about the compass or what it's supposed to do.
So some of the thought process behind a compass is that obviously a compass, works off of magnetic fields and shows you north and south and like your location, so to speak. They work off of magnetic lines, which could be ley lines, which are areas of, energy that you could potentially say that along this geographical plane, we have more paranormal activity because there's limestone, there's a ley line, versus if you go southeast, there's nothing for them. There's no conduit of, ley lines kind of thing. That's where compasses come into play there.
Awesome. Okay. And what about the heart monitor?
So there was a episode on, I believe, Ghost Hunters a while ago. I want to say it was Ghost Hunters where they applied a heart monitor to like an inanimate object. And they were asking the spirit that if you were there and you were able to touch it, to transfer your energy to try to pick up a heartbeat.
Ooh,
I believe that's their experiment.
I think that's what I saw was on TV.
Yeah, I mean, because in all seriousness, as long as I know and I'm comfortable with the people that I speak to, we're in the paranormal field for 3 reasons. And if you're not in it for these 3 reasons, then you probably shouldn't be in the paranormal field. One is to have fun. Let's start there. Everybody's to have fun, right? Doing what we do, getting into cool places, running around, chasing bats and chasing ghosts in the middle of Penhurst, or George Taylor, right? It's to have
Chained
fun.
up to a wheelchair, Tim. Yeah.
Number 2 is to, find evidence, through research. Let's trial and error. Like, hey, let's try this experiment. Let's try this using equipment, whether it's new technology or it's old technology, Larissa, like you're talking about. It's about research. That's what we're doing. And the third thing is another key thing is networking, being able to communicate with other people and, hey, Alan, try this, or hey, Tony, why don't you try this? Sarah, hey, Tony, do this. I was in Rockwell Tunnel at Penhurst and I tried this and I got something in a geobox. It's networking. Those are the 3 things. And if you're not in it, if you're in it for other things, then maybe, like paradrama that we don't need in the paranormal field, then you probably shouldn't be in the paranormal field.
I really like that.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah, well said. And Dennis, she got lost in land now, I'm sure.
I was an officer. I didn't need it.
Yeah, she had grunts to do the dirty work.
All right. We're gonna move on to the second piece. Tim has things to do. Okay.
We have been on topic all night.
Right.
1 hour. We've been on topic, guys.
Great
Now-
point, though, Tony. Thanks.
Who just put that no drama up there? Like
Look,
that
listen,
is
she's clicking my buttons.
that is. I mean,
I put the other one up.
Tim, I see you commenting on a lot of stuff. You got a lot of social media presence. Sarah, you're like a paranormal celebrity too. We're up and coming. That is the key thing that I would like people to just,
I put it up there, and I'm a paralebrity too.
I would just like to, I want everybody to take that to mention, no drama. Like I've said this before, I'll keep it short. Is that 15 years ago when Grant and Jason were in the trailer and Samantha was running around in her diaper, that was the time to stab each other in the back, try to climb a ladder, try to get somewhere. Now there's no ladder to climb. There's no top. Like they're already the epitome of, para celebrities and ghost hunting. And then there's a couple other people that branched off. Like
Alan, someone said they like your hair.
They were definitely talking to you, girl.
But
You're right.
No
Tony,
drama.
I was kidding, by the way.
Yeah.
No, I know, sweetie. No drama, dude. No, just let's have fun. Let's investigate. Let's come up with some evidence to keep the paranormal world going. That the other side does exist, and 9 times out of 10 they're intelligent, and the other part is residual. I mean, let's be fair.
I'm going to call those Tony 3 core principles. I love it. You're spot on, brother. Spot on.
Each one of them if you want them.
Seriously.
Absolutely.
You need to put that on a T-shirt, Tony.
Yeah. No drama.
And
no
Dennis, And Dennis, just so you know, I know how to spell army. That's why you're in the Marine Corps.
Are you ready for the Marines yet? That's
Wow.
No.
Shots fired. Shots
Oh.
fired.
Oh, this is typical, Tim. I told you, we don't stay on the beaten path.
Typical Amory. All right. I know you're trying to say armory. All right. What do we got next?
All right, we're going to the next clip.
We're going. Yeah, we're going. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I won't be able to hear it.
All right.
This clip we actually weren't there for, guys. So this one, this was Team B, Marlena's team. Alan, Sky, and I were on Team A. Tony, this was taken, I believe, in the main house. SLS footage, and it's SLS footage, so it's dark, but it's basically something on SLS turning a flashlight on. How can that not be paranormal?
I remember this. Yeah.
Okay, so he doesn't need to hear then, correct? All right, you can stay on, Tony. I was going to tell you to leave and come back.
Got kicked to the curb.
Yeah.
No! Hold on, let me switch the banner and then I'll play it. Okay.
Which one of y'all sneezed? No, okay, it's picking up you, Marlena. Okay. We're gonna leave the room. Come out and say hi. You gotta come out and say hi. I mean, we can put this back over there, but you haven't played with this so far. Oh, just a little bit. There we go. Okay, thank you. Good job. Can you do that again? That was awesome. Surprise, gotcha, huh? That was good. Thank you. Woo. I'm gonna do it again. How sensitive is that flashlight?
So, Alan, you're going to have to explain to them how the flashlight works because that's one of the new ones.
Yep, and our friend Eric is correct. It was on the bed in George Taylor. So that flashlight isn't the typical twist flashlight and make the connection. That's one of the tap mag lights. So there's a setting on certain mag lights where it's called nighttime sleep, where it'll dim the light, and if the light is tapped, it will turn on. It'll get brighter. So something had to tap that on the bed for it to come on.
So looking at that, it's kind of hard in the dark. What bedroom was it on the second floor? The front one at the top of the stairs or the right one, which is Hannah's room? It's the all white one with the white fireplace.
From the location of the bed, I thought it was the one on the left when you come up the stairs.
Okay, so Anne's room. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know because I was not on Team B. No
I
idea.
but just the location of the bed, I was kind of trying to figure it out, and there was a window there, and the way she walked around the bed.
Eric said correct.
Oh, thanks, Eric. He was there. He was on that team.
I mean, you can clearly see that nobody's like in the camera view, like anywhere near the flashlight. So you can pretty much rule out human interaction.
What's interesting to me is that you do see Marlena was the team psychic. Oh, so Tim, the way that we operate is we have two teams and each team has an equipment lead and then each team has a psychic lead. I'm psychic lead on A and then Marlena's on team B. So in the beginning of the frame, you see Marlena to the left and then she moves out of the frame. And then what's interesting to me is I see what looks like an SLS, I don't know, something, and it's like glitching in and out, and then it like kind of moves over the flashlight, disappears, and then the flashlight comes on.
Flashlight goes on. Yeah.
I think you should play it again, Sky.
I'll play it again.
Which one of y'all sneezed? No, okay, it's picking up you, Marlena. Okay. We're gonna leave the room. Come out and say hi. You gotta come out and say hi. I mean, we can put this back over there, but you haven't played with this so far. Oh, just a little bit. There we go. Okay, thank you. Good job. Can you do that again? That was awesome. Surprise, gotcha, huh? That was good. Thank you. Woo. I'm gonna do it again.
Tony, can you remote read on videos? Like, can you read a video or a picture?
I could definitely read pictures. Video are a little bit hard.
Okay. I picked up a female on that video. I kind of picked her up, kind of like I could see her swoop over. I felt feminine energy.
It was Anne.
Absolutely. Kind of looking at it, kind of frustrated a little bit, like curious and frustrated at the same time, and then kind of annoyed. Like, why is it on my bed?
Yeah, there's 3 very strong spirits in George Taylor. One is George himself. 2 is Anne, his wife, and 3 is Hannah Banazet, which was she lived there with her husband after the Taylors. And they're the 3 most significant spirits there, secondary to the kids and Naomi, the servant.
Who's Richard?
Not sure. Did you pick up on a Richard?
Yeah. Just now
Somebody
when you
knew.
were talking to me, somebody named Richard from the house.
So not this past time, but the time before that, the treasurer of the board, she picked up on a new entity there that came through the portal, and it was a new gentleman, but we didn't get a name, so that could be who you're picking up on.
Okay. I'm sorry to go a little bit off there, but it was very strong, and it was
Nothing's off when we're talking paranormal, especially George Taylor House.
Interesting.
So
what's your take, guys? Paranormal? Not paranormal?
Dennis has a question. How old were the batteries?
Yeah, Dennis, with that flashlight, fans, heat, breezes will not turn that flashlight on. You got to physically touch it and move it.
And I can vouch for Alan for part of that. And one of the questions in there about the heat and the breezes, there's no breeze coming into the second floor. All the heat's on the first floor. There's no heating and air conditioning up top. So there's no phantom breezes or anything like that triggering anything. But good question, though.
My question is, what's the flashlight made out of? Is it metal?
Yeah, it's a mag light.
Well, and this is not about the light coming on. It's about the SOS hit. Could the SOS been picking up on the metal of the flashlight? Is that a possibility? I mean, I know sometimes people use SOSs and they pick up on metal chairs and lampposts and things of that nature. Could that have been the flashlight itself that the SOS picked up? Maybe.
Interesting.
It could have been
from the batteries.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been a reflection, of the IR light on the SLS camera causing that, because I mean, we're all skeptics up to some point, right?
So do you think the SLS would map the flashlight's only like this big? It's tiny.
It all depends on how it comes back to the sensor in the SLS.
Yes. I've seen SOSs pick up on some very significant evidence. Then I've seen a lot of just simple things that it'll pick up on too. I've heard there's two different platforms for the SOS. Like there's an older version of the software and a newer version. So I don't know which version you guys are using, but definitely the older one is not as accurate as the newer or whatever it's called is.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. Maybe it was just a thought. I'm not saying that wasn't something captured, but curiosity. What was the flashlight made out of? It was made out of metal. Could it have picked up? But then it was kind of like hovering, kind of higher over the bed as well at points. It kind of went up and down. So it's hard to say. Either way, it's a really good piece of evidence. And as Alan said, that it has to be touched for the light to get stronger. So that's pretty cool.
And that's the thing. That's the thing here too. Like we can look at the SLS and say, yes, it could have been a reflection, could have been this, could have been that, but nothing explains the triggering of the flashlight. Like the SLS isn't going to remotely hit the flashlight. No human touched it. No one kicked the bed, to cause, any kind of vibration.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know much about the SLS at all, actually. And what's interesting is I use the SLS a lot to validate me, and it's like a lot of times I can't see, obviously, what's on the SLS screen. It's pointed straight forward, and I'm in front of it, and the screen is facing Alan, and my team is behind him. So I'm always being filmed. So a lot of times I'll say somebody's standing over there, and he'll point it, and somebody is standing there 9 times out of 10. And I'll point up and I'll say somebody's running across the ceiling, and you'll see somebody will be upside down and they'll go across the ceiling. So to hear you say that, it's not that it's disheartening and it bothers me. It doesn't, but it does make me second guess. Like now when I'm seeing those things, you know, are we mapping beams? Are we mapping poles? Like, what am I seeing?
But if you're sensing it, then that's more accurate to me. If you're sensing it and you're seeing something and someone's taking it in that area where you're seeing it and you're seeing something, that's a little more credible than if you're just wandering around a room on random things. To me, if you're seeing it without using the SOS and then someone's pointing it over, that's a little more credible to me than rather just running around room pointing at things and trying to figure out what it is or what it could be.
But don't get disheartened, Larissa, because that's what we do with any piece of equipment, whether it's SLS, whether it's a REM pod, whether, you know, a cat ball. We all look at it and go, how did that get triggered? You know, was there vibration? You know, was it a radio? Was it a cell phone? We're all in airplane mode. You know, and then when the SLS, you just have to look, okay, I saw a figure in this direction. What is over there? Is it a mirror? Is it a bush? You know, you're not going to get a reflective feedback from a SLS if you're dealing with a holly bush out front of somebody's house.
Could we play it one more time? Because I wrote some things down, but I just want to see it one more time.
Sure.
Which one of y'all sneezed?
No, okay, it's picking up you, Marlena.
Okay. We're gonna leave the room.
Come out and say hi.
Yeah, come out and say hi. I mean, we can put this back over there, but you haven't played with it so far. Oh,
just a little bit. There we go.
Okay, thank you. Good job. Can you do that again? That was awesome.
Surprise, gotcha, huh?
That was good.
Thank you.
Woo.
I'm gonna do it again. How sensitive is that in the flashlight?
You have to literally tap it.
Oh, okay. It wasn't like movement or anything.
No.
Yeah, so across from the bed, that angle of the SLS, I don't see a window or anything there to kind of do a reflection of someone moving.
The mirror is behind. Whoever's holding the SLS camera looking towards the flashlight and the anomaly, the mirror is directly behind you on the wall.
Okay.
That's Keith.
Yep, Keith was holding that one. So it is.
So I highly doubt with the mirror behind them on the wall that it's getting the reflection coming back to the front of the SLS camera.
Is there a mirror across the bed?
No, it's behind. Nope, it's behind the guy with the SLS.
Okay. So we eliminated that. Yep.
Interesting. Okay.
I'm with all the skeptics here, and I have an SLS camera, or my sister has one. So when we use it, I've noticed certain times, I'm with you guys. Like, what is it? What could it be mapping out? Doesn't look like anything that it could be mapping out. However, what's interesting to me is you guys are focused on the flashlight going off to validate it. I wonder if it could just be that you put the flashlight in the right place. And that's kind of what I'm getting. Because to me, the way that they get on the bed seems a little bit like they're just trying to get into bed and get comfy. Not like you guys told them to get into bed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, more like a residual, like they're getting in bed.
Yeah, and even the way that, like, right before it went off, how the thing just, like, the figure just kind of starts moving around crazy. I don't know if I would say that that's them, like, yeah, I'm gonna set this off for you so you know that I'm here. Does that make sense?
It was just
I almost feel like it could have just been that you had whoever put the flashlight there had the right idea. to put the flashlight.
And the other thing in the video, just prior to the figure disappearing and the light actually like activating, if you look at the circle of the field of vision for the SLS camera, where you see the flashlight, you see the SLS figure on the left. If you look at that right before the flashlight goes off, the area kind of dims. There's a light change, right before the light actually activates. So, I mean, that could be a capture in itself. Like you're saying, Sarah, is that someone is just kindly getting into bed to get ready to go night-night, and you just happen to capture them in a moment.
Yeah, ready to go night-night, or maybe they were on the bed for a different reason, whatever it was.
That's the other room.
I didn't mean it
That's
like
the
that.
other room.
I actually kind of meant, because I don't even know what this place is, and I apologize. I don't even know where George Taylor House is, so I know nothing about it. It's just interesting to see that sort of footage, like as an outsider. I don't know if that was necessarily setting it off because you guys wanted it to. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like a residual thing.
It could have been, but I think that it could have just been there as, you
Right place, right time.
Yeah. Yeah, and that place is only about 15, 20 minutes from you, Sarah.
From what?
From you. It's probably like 15, 20 minutes.
It's in
It's in Catasauqua.
It's right near the airport.
You've probably driven past it.
I'm still
got
so new to this
some more
area.
investigation.
You would think Lawrence would fill me in on these things.
It's
He's
a
clueless.
historic house right by you in Catasauqua. It's the George Taylor House. They were one of the original signers of the Declaration of Independence.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But
I have heard of this. I apologize.
when we first showed the clip, my read on it was that it was intelligent. Now, you guys, your opinion is what you want it to be, but I think it was intelligent. That all being said, Tony, when I first walked up on that property, one of the first things I said to Jody, and I cannot remember
Brenda was there.
Brenda, was that there were routes to Salem on that land. I was absolutely 100% convinced, and I was right. The other day, at 100%, I saw a flaming bush. I saw a hanging tree. I saw what I saw. I was right. Brenda told me I was not too far off. She didn't want to give me too much information. The other day, my phone rang. I won't tell you who it was, but he's a good friend of mine. He said, Larissa, I watched your show the other day. George Taylor House caddy. Now, mind you, this person called me. He's across the country in Washington State. He is a descendant of George Taylor, a descendant of Mary so-and-so from Salem, who is a great grandmother of George Taylor. And I'm a great grand something of George Taylor. And he saw the show and he's like, yeah, I cannot believe. He said, I saw you saying that you had read that she was, or you had said something about roots to Salem and George Taylor. And I went back and looked at my ancestry and I realized that you were talking about one of my great grandmothers or great aunts or whatever he said. And he goes, and I said, oh my God. And I called my cousin Lisa and yada, yada, and so forth. And so, yeah, kind of crazy how that all comes full circle.
Yeah.
So I have the greatest holy grail of ghost evidence for you guys. Are you ready?
Yeah.
It's really fast, so you got to keep your eyes focused. All right.
Okay.
Do you guys see that? What was that?
What are you doing,
Are
Tony?
you doing arts and crafts?
Is that a Pac-Man ghost?
That's what it looked like, didn't it? Yeah.
It's all about having fun, right?
Yep.
Right. Best piece of evidence ever, brother.
I have to say that I'm actually pretty jealous that we weren't invited to this arts and crafts session. I love arts and crafts. I would have made a better ghost than that.
Hey, I'm not the greatest here, so I'm willing to learn.
All right.
And look, I'll even make you laugh even more. It's on the back of a spatula from our kitchen.
How did my story about Mary and George Taylor and my friend turn into that, Tony? Are you just switching subjects? Are you switching it up?
Inspired.
No, I was making everybody laugh.
Inspired, Tim? Are you inspired? Are you inspired?
Inspired, yes.
No, I was making everybody laugh, but
Very
there
creative.
definitely is not the house itself, but the property that it's on. There definitely is not only a witch connection, there's also a Indian burial ground connection as well. So there's a lot of
This
stuff
place
going on in George
sounds.
Taylor.
It sounds very fascinating, man. I want to go check it out myself now. With all the
You ever
spirits that you
come to
guys are talking
Pennsylvania,
about being
man?
there.
You ever come to
visit
Pennsylvania, let us know.
in George Taylor.
Tony, you
Yeah,
have to
that's-
tell him to come in April of 2024.
Yeah, well, we're putting this. We got this big event that Larissa and her team and us were working on, man. We can't,
All right.
go into too many details because we got another non-disclosure. It's all about non-disclosures anymore.
We're
That's
just
fun,
gonna
right?
just put a ticker across the stream. No drama, non-disclosures.
Yeah, right.
I got it.
But yeah, we're working on this big event, man. It's never been done before, in the paranormal field. With both Hell House and George Taylor. So stay tuned for some more really, really cool things going on with that. We were going to try to push it for this year, but I think, and talking with Larissa and Angie, that, to make it as a hit that we want it to be, we need to push it out to at least 2024. That way we can plan things and do it right. Because it's all about doing things right. Yeah, Casey, we keep teasing you.
And Sarah's got a project going with us too, with non-disclosures.
I don't know
We
what
just-
you're talking about.
We're
I have NDA
doling
tattooed
them
on my
out.
forehead.
We're
You just
making
can't see it.
NDAs rain.
Yeah, like where's the little, like the $1 non-disclosure agreements? I'm not dancing for non-disclosures.
It would definitely be cool to link up with you guys and do something, whether it's one place or the other. It'd definitely be cool to be out there doing something with you guys, meeting up with you.
We'd
And
love
Hey,
it, Tim.
and do some
we have carte blanche. All we got to do is tell them, hey, we got people coming over, and the board will let us in.
Yeah.
So you're coming
I
up,
know I'll be out-
for
I'll
a
be
weekend.
out,
Let us know.
I'll be out in Pennsylvania for the bash this year, and I will be out there
Yes.
We'll be
August
there.
5th for the Crescent Sanatorium.
Ooh.
Yeah,
That's in
that's on the
Pennsylvania,
bucket
too.
list.
What
those
day?
are two areas of Crescent Sanatorium, kind of like an old
Yeah, no. When
asylum.
are you gonna be there?
Oh, that'll be August 5th. I'll be out
Oh,
there. for
okay. I
that.
thought you said. Never mind.
That's gonna be hot as balls.
I'll be there April 5th. I was like, will I see you?
Dennis
no,
is onto something, guys.
I'll be down in Florida in April.
Lucky you.
But yeah, well, no, I'll be down.
Yeah,
there.
Alias.
Not vacation.
That's a good
I'm
comment.
supposed to- Going down there to some Gilhurst jail or something like that. A guy down there.
Gilchrist.
Gilchrist. Yeah, the guy that owns that. He's like, hey, T-Dog, you need to come down here. I want you to, he's like, you come down here for 3 days and just run around, do whatever you want. I want you to come down and check out my jail. So I'm going to try to make it down there to check out this guy's jail that he's.
Shit, 3 days. Let's go. I'm on
What a
board.
great friend to have.
Yeah, he's like,
Shit,
"Come
lock
on
me in
down."